Town of Union Supervisor Rob Mack. I'm also joined by Under Sheriff Sam Davis, Captain Ben Harding of the Law Enforcement Division. We called you here today. We want to discuss targeted enforcement of e-bikes, e-scooters, e-motorcycles, and dirt bikes that are amongst us throughout Broome County. Over the course of the last few months, we have noted a significant increase in the amount of e-bikes, e-scooters being operated by juveniles throughout Broome County in communities. And what we have noticed from a law enforcement perspective is this growing lawlessness amongst these juveniles and the danger that they are putting themselves in and the danger that they are putting motorists in as they ride their e-bikes and e-scooters on public roadways. So oftentimes we view public safety through the lens of, or through two lenses, education and enforcement. So it's really why I'm here today. I want to reiterate to the larger community the do's and the don'ts as it pertains to e-bikes, e-scooters, e-motorcycles, etc., and then make my position very, very clear to the people of Broome County. If people can't follow the rules, if people can't adhere to the rules and regulations as set forth in the law, we are going to start seizing these e-bikes and e-scooters from juveniles who are raising hell in the community. Just the other day, myself, I stopped two juveniles on Country Club Road. One was driving a full-fledged electric dirt bike, the other on an e-bike. One kid's father paid $7,000 for the dirt bike. The other kid's father paid $4,000 for the e-bike, doing wheelies 30 miles an hour up Country Club Road with traffic. It's just dangerous. And my fear here is that if we don't have a conversation collectively as a community, the next conversation we have around this issue will be because some juvenile was killed because they were acting recklessly on public roadways throughout Broome County. So I'm going to ask the captain to step forward. I'm going to ask him to speak very specifically so there is no confusion about what is allowable and what is not. And I would really encourage all of your viewers to go to the Sheriff's Office webpage, and there's a document that is forward-facing. You can find all of the rules. You can find everything that is acceptable and unacceptable when it comes to e-bikes and e-scooters and e-dirt bikes, and that will really help educate the community on what the expectation is of us from the Office of the Sheriff's perspective. Then I'm going to ask Supervisor Mack to step up and just talk a little bit about what the Town of Union has been experiencing and some of the things that they're doing to address this issue as well. Cap?
Well, good afternoon. New York State has a number of regulations, rules, and laws that help govern e-bikes, e-scooters, e-dirt bikes, ATVs, UTVs, etc. So going back to what the sheriff talked about with the all-electric dirt bike, if a motorcycle is deemed for off-road use only, like an e-dirt bike, it can only be utilized in an off-road capacity. It cannot be operated on a public roadway whatsoever. So for example, you see someone riding around an e-dirt bike or a regular dirt bike, there's no mirrors on it, there's no taillights, there's no headlights. That's designed for off-road use only. It cannot be operated on a public roadway. There's enduro motorcycles that have headlights, taillights, turn signals that can be registered to operate on a public roadway. They're designed for that safely. A lot of, especially with the juveniles, we see a lot of kids riding scooters, e-scooters. There's no pedals on it. It's all electric. Okay? An e-scooter, no one under the age of 15 can ride an e-scooter. On top of that, they cannot exceed 15 miles an hour. When they're on the roadway, they cannot be in a speed zone that's above 30 miles an hour on that. And also a helmet is required for anyone between the ages of 15 and 17. E-bikes are broken down into three different classifications. The third classification of e-bikes is specific for New York City only. Okay? So a bicycle that has electronic assistance when they're pedaling, that is classification 1, that cannot exceed 20 miles an hour and it cannot be in a speed zone above 30 miles an hour. Class 2 of e-bikes has a throttle, and it allows the bicycle to propel itself using electricity, and the pedals can kind of assist along with it. So that's the difference. The first one is Class 1, you pedal and the electric helps you as you pedal. Class 2 has a throttle and allows you to accelerate and garner speed, and that one is at 20 miles an hour as well. When these bicycles are on the roadway, they have to adhere to the laws of the state of New York as far as traffic. So I'm sure everyone out there has seen these bicyclists or e-bikes going through red lights, going through stop signs, cutting traffic, riding up and down sidewalks, through parking lots to cut corners. They have to abide by all the New York State regulations for vehicle and traffic. And when it comes to e-bikes, no one under the age of 15 can ride that e-bike on a public roadway. So a 10-year-old riding an e-bike on a public roadway is illegal. It's not authorized. And then we have pit bikes, or bikes that people are making in their garages, or electrified, or you may buy them at Lowe's. You may have seen them there. Those are designed for off-road use. Just like I talked about with dirt bikes, those are designed for off-road use and must remain for off-road use only. They cannot be on public roadways. There is a number of mopeds and limited use motorcycles that are designed for on-road use, both electric and traditional gasoline, or in some cases even diesel. Those are authorized to be operated, registered and insured on public roadways. So before someone buys something, it's important that they understand what exactly they're buying. Are they buying an off-road use motorcycle, or are they buying an on-road use motorcycle or moped? And that's very important. And the same goes for ATVs, UTVs, which cannot be registered and operated on public roadways in addition to that.
Thank you. Supervisor?
Thank you. I'm Supervisor Rob Mack from the town of Union, and I thank Sheriff Akshar and his entire department for listening and allocating manpower to take our streets back. The town of Union fully supports and applauds this law enforcement crackdown. We have multiple complaints of unsafe behavior, rudeness, and blatant disrespect for residents and legal motorists on our streets and roads. As a supervisor, in 15 years of service to the town of Union, I have never had so many complaints, phone calls, videos, pictures sent to me of e-bike problems in the town of Union. And it's all over, and it's very, very frustrating. The town has experienced extensive damage in our town parks, especially Highland Park, and our ball fields, especially Struble Field. We have pictures, we have video of them destroying fields after rainstorms, doing what they call donuts on the Little League fields and purposely damaging parks. We are holding a public hearing on August 12th at 7 p.m. at our regular town board meeting for public input, and we have crafted new laws against e-bikes in the town of Union, and especially in our parks. We are going to ask that it be vigorously enforced. There will be fines and even, as Fred said, confiscation of property. But the town has had it, and we're really looking forward to this crackdown to get this taken care of. Thank you.
All right, so let me just highlight just a couple of things. I think it's important for, again, your viewership to understand that we're not talking about a 5 or a 6-year-old with his or her parents in a parking lot, riding his or her scooter. We're not talking about a husband and a wife who ride their e-bike to go play pickleball at Highland Park or Rec Park in Binghamton. What we're talking about is this growing group of lawless juveniles who are endangering themselves first and foremost, and also endangering motorists who are in motor vehicles as they are driving in or riding around in sometimes relatively large groups of e-bikes, e-scooters. So really, my plea from the podium today is relatively simple. I'm asking all of the mothers and fathers out there who have purchased these type of scooters and bikes for their children, please adhere to the law. Please educate yourself. Again, all of the documents that you need are forward-facing on our website, on our social media platforms. Educate yourself on what you can do, because the men and women of the Office of the Sheriff are going to be out in the coming weeks enforcing the rules. And to the supervisor's point, if people can't obey the rules, then we are going to stop these juveniles, and we're going to seize their e-bikes, and they'll be in the impound yard until we can figure out what to do, because to do nothing about this is only going to create issues. And my fear, of course, as I said during the outset, is that somebody's going to be killed. And of course, nobody wants that. So with that, I'll take your on-topic questions if you have them.
Have you had any incidents reported? Obviously not fatalities, but any motor vehicle accidents involving citizens?
Yeah, so I was on the phone late last week with our partners in healthcare, and the issue there is that they're not capturing specific data, e-bike versus motorcycle related. So, the last case that I can think of in my mind was in the village of Endicott. I think it was on McKinley. That was an e-bike accident. We didn't handle it. The village of Endicott did. I don't think we've seen many accidents, frankly, with respect to e-bikes, e-scooters, et cetera. Is that accurate?
That is. What seems to happen is a lot of motor vehicles traveling the roadways are seeing these groups of e-bikes rolling around. They're having to stop in traffic while they just cut through intersections. And to the sheriff's point, it's a matter of just luck that it hasn't happened, but with the increased presence of them and their reckless actions, it's just a matter of time before we do see that happen.
What has increased significantly, I think the supervisor made this point, and I can certainly personally make it, is the inbound messages from community members who are fed up, right, who will describe an incident in which they went to the Weiss Market in the town of Union to get groceries, and their car was surrounded by 6 kids on e-bikes, flipping them off and screaming profanities, et cetera, et cetera. And that is happening across Broome County, where we are getting an increased number of complaints about the type of activity that both the supervisor and the captain speak of specifically. And we've all witnessed it with our own eyes. My guess is probably you guys have too during your travels. So again, I view this as a problem, a public safety related problem in Broome County. What I am asking for is that we address this collectively as a community, and if we can't collectively understand the rules and the regulations, then we are going to go into a very aggressive enforcement mode and start to remove these vehicles from the road for the safety of the people who not only operate them, but for the safety of the people who are trying to live, work, and raise their families in the community.
Do you know about how many complaints there have been?
I don't have a number without looking, but I can tell you that it's significant from my perspective. I mean, you heard the supervisor speak of it. He's getting a significant increase in the amount of people calling him, complaining, and we are experiencing that as well.
I've called 911 personally 4 or 5 times when I've been in Highland Park or one of my parks, and they were there, and there's nothing I can do with 20 kids on e-bikes, but I've called 911 for help several times, and I know many others did. I can't tell you. I would say the number of complaints and calls we've gotten to the town is approaching 75, and that's unbelievable for that many calls and emails to be coming in about the same subject, with pictures and with video. So.
Okay. Anything else, guys?
Oh, just one last one.
Yeah.
I know the city of Binghamton probably about a year or so ago also kind of put out a statement similar to this. Did you guys kind of maybe collab with them on how they've handled stuff in the city?
Yeah, I don't think there's been any direct communication. I certainly have not talked to Chief Ryan specifically on the matter. I don't know if the captain has his counterparts. But as we do anything public safety related, I would welcome the opportunity to address issues that affect all of us jointly. I think that's when we are our strongest. So again, while I may not have had a direct conversation with Chief Ryan, we stand ready to enforce these rules, these regulations anywhere in Broome County. Right? I have long said that. I've said that from the moment that the undersheriff and I stepped foot in this building. That everybody in Broome County, regardless of your zip code, regardless of the street that you live on, you have a right to feel safe, regardless of where you live. So we're focused on enforcing the laws throughout Broome County, in every corner of Broome County. But again, I just repeat, as always, we would look to our law enforcement partners to be able to collaborate on these type of enforcement issues.